A nobody, an outsider, someone who didn't belong. So she called the cops. But what happened next made him famous and changed her life forever. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your location in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's dive in. It all started on a sunny Thursday afternoon in a quiet, upscale neighborhood in Texas. The kind where the hedges are perfectly trimmed, the lawns are golf course green, and the silence is broken only by the soft hum of luxury cars cruising past million-dollar homes. But that day, something different happened. A U-Haul truck pulled up to the curb of a beautiful two-story modern home with gray siding and tall glass windows. Out stepped Jayden Carter, a 24-year-old black tech entrepreneur with ambition in his eyes and history in his heart. He wasn't just moving into a house. He was stepping into a dream he'd worked years to build. Jayden had just bought the house, outright, after selling a piece of revolutionary code to a cybersecurity firm. It was the house he used to ride past on his bike as a kid, whispering to himself one day. Today was that day. But someone was watching. From behind embroidered curtains across the street, eyes narrowed behind prescription glasses, HOA Karen stood stiffly. Her lips curled as she sipped her lukewarm chamomile tea. The previous owners, the Whitemans, were her weekly wine night partners. They'd been close. She trusted them. She liked them. But now, she was staring at a black boy, alone, dressed in ripped jeans and a vintage Tupac shirt. In her mind, he wasn't a homeowner. He was a trespasser. Karen stormed into her kitchen, slamming the mug in the sink. "This neighborhood is going downhill," she hissed to herself. First the coffee shop changes ownership. Now this? She walked into her living room, peeking again through the blinds. There he was, Jayden, lifting a 50-inch TV out of the truck with one arm, smiling, proud, alive. She hated it. It wasn't just that he was black. It was that he looked free, happy, like he had the kind of success her own son could never reach. Jealousy mixed with racism, a potent cocktail. And she decided right then and there, he doesn't belong here. 2 days later, Jayden woke up to find a middle-aged woman walking across his backyard with a clipboard in hand. Karen. She wasn't just part of the HOA. She was the HOA. "What are you doing on my property?" Jayden asked, stepping out in his pajamas. "Oh, I'm just conducting a routine inspection. Didn't your realtor explain how things work around here?" She replied, voice syrupy but her eyes sharp. "Nope. And I don't remember giving you permission to be in my backyard." "Well, that's how we keep things orderly in this neighborhood." Jayden clenched his jaw. "Respectfully, I own this home. If you need something, knock next time." Karen didn't move. She just stared. Then, without another word, she scribbled something on her clipboard and walked away. Jayden watched her leave, a pit forming in his stomach. Something told him this wasn't over. 3 days later, at 10:43 p.m., Jayden heard a knock on his door. 2 officers stood there. "Sir, we received a call about a possible break-in." Jayden blinked. "What?" "I live here. Can we see some ID?" Jayden, confused but calm, stepped aside and handed them his driver's license and deed. They matched. Everything checked out. "Looks like a misunderstanding," one officer said. "Sorry for the disturbance." As they left, Jayden glanced across the street. Karen stood in her doorway, arms folded, smiling. Jayden kept his head down, working day and night on his next big project. He had an app in beta testing. Life was stressful, but promising. And finally, after weeks of 14-hour days and sleepless nights, he bought the car of his dreams. A sleek, black McLaren 720S. The engine roared like a lion. The matte paint shimmered like oil in sunlight. He parked in the driveway. Karen nearly choked on her lemon water. "A drug dealer," she muttered. "Has to be." That night, Jayden popped champagne. Alone. A victory toast. He sat on his patio, stars above him, sipping and smiling. He'd made it. A young black man from the south side of Houston, in one of the richest neighborhoods in Texas. It felt unreal. But somewhere between the celebration and sleep, he misplaced the car key. He didn't realize it until morning. Frustrated, barefoot, and slightly hungover, he stepped outside in a hoodie and sweats, searching the driveway and porch area. That's what happened. Karen had been watching. Like a hawk. She saw Jayden pacing near the McLaren, looking around anxiously. She knew. This was her moment. She grabbed her phone and dialed 911. Yes. There's a suspicious black male attempting to steal a vehicle. Yes, right now. He's acting erratic. Please hurry. Within minutes, red and blue lights lit up the block. Jayden looked up, confused. Sir, step away from the vehicle, the officer shouted, guns drawn. Jayden raised his hands. What's going on? This is my car. Where's the key? I misplaced it last night. Check the glove compartment. The papers are in there. My name's on everything. Karen strutted across the street, hair wrapped tight, smug smile in full bloom. He's lying. I've lived here 15 years. I've never seen him before he moved in. He's not from here. He's a criminal. I told you all. Probably on drugs. That's not his car. That's not his house. He doesn't belong here. Sir, the officer said, approaching Jayden cautiously. We're placing you under arrest until we verify the vehicle's ownership. Jayden's heart dropped. I'm not resisting. But please. My ID's in my wallet, left back pocket. Check it. Another officer opened it, paused, and looked up. Sir, you're the founder of J&EX Tech? Jayden nodded. Yes. I own the house. I own the car. I built it all. That woman has been harassing me since the day I moved in. Karen screamed from the side. No. Don't believe him. He's scamming you. He's dangerous. One officer walked over to the car, and, sitting half-buried under the front passenger seat, was the missing key. He opened the glove box. There it was. The registration. Jayden Carter. His name on everything. Silence. Karen trembled with rage. You can't trust him. Look at him. He's deceiving you. The officer turned to her. Ma'am, that's enough. Step back. Then he turned to Jayden, removed the cuffs, and said softly, We're sorry, sir. You're free to go. By now, the entire neighborhood had come out. People stood on their lawns in robes and slippers, watching. Whispers floated through the air like pollen. Jayden stood tall, silent, dignified. The young man who had been called a criminal was actually a self-made tech CEO. And Karen was just an angry woman exposed. But that wasn't the end. Jayden didn't say a word to her that night. He didn't gloat. He didn't retaliate. But what he did next was broadcast to the world, and everyone saw it. But that's a story for another day. It was supposed to be the end for him. The moment he'd be humiliated in front of the entire neighborhood, handcuffed beside the very car he worked so hard to earn. HOA Karen watched with a twisted grin as the police officers surrounded 24-year-old Jayden Carter, suspecting him of trying to steal his own McLaren. She thought she'd won. She thought she'd finally chased out the dirty black boy who, in her mind, had no business living on her street. But Karen forgot one thing. In 2025, the world is always watching. And this time, the cameras were on. Across the street, a teenager named Mia had been filming the whole thing on her phone. She was 16, smart, curious, and tired of seeing Karen harass their new neighbor for weeks. When the cops arrived, Mia kept recording. She caught every second. Jayden's calm demeanor, Karen's rage-filled rants. The moment the officer apologized and released him after finding the key, she caught Karen screaming, "He's a criminal. He's lying." And the moment the officer firmly told her, "Ma'am, that's enough." That night, Mia posted the 2-minute clip to TikTok. She captioned it, "Racist HOA Karen calls cops on our new neighbor, thinking he stole his own car. Watch what happens. #Justice for Jayden. #Karen exposed." By sunrise, the video had 4.3 million views. By mid-morning, the clip was on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook. News channels picked it up. Celebrities shared it. Civil rights activists called it a perfect example of modern-day racial profiling. But more than that, people were in awe of Jayden, because when reporters started digging, they found out who he really was. Jayden wasn't just a homeowner. He was the founder and CEO of Carter Code, a cybersecurity startup now valued at over $40 million. He'd grown up in a single-bedroom apartment in Houston, raised by his mother, who worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table. Jayden learned to code on a borrowed laptop from a local community center. By 19, he had built a firewall software used by schools across Texas. By 22, he'd been offered buyouts from Google and IBM. He said no. He wanted to build something of his own. He bought his dream home at 24. He just bought his dream car. And because of Karen, now the whole world knew his name. Karen didn't see it coming. She woke up 2 days later to 1,700 unread emails. Her LinkedIn inbox flooded with angry messages. Someone had found her Facebook profile, then her business website. Turns out, she owned a small interior design firm called Designs by Karen. Within a week, 22 of her 30 clients had canceled contracts. Her Google rating plummeted to 1.2 stars. Negative reviews poured in, racist and unprofessional. Do not support hate. If I could give 0 stars, I would. Then came the email from her biggest corporate client. Due to recent events circulating online, we are discontinuing all work with Designs by Karen, effective immediately. Then came another, and then a formal letter from her own company's board. They were letting her go. The founder had become a liability. Karen stared at the email, heart pounding. She'd gone from HOA president and sought-after designer to viral villain in just 5 days. Meanwhile, Jayden's life changed in ways he couldn't imagine. His follower count exploded. Over 3 million on TikTok, 2.5 million on Instagram. Every tech podcast wanted to interview him. Ellen, The Breakfast Club, even Forbes reached out. He told his story, not as a victim, but as a survivor. He didn't bash Karen. He didn't curse the system. He spoke about grace, grit, and growth. I wasn't surprised she called the cops, he said in one interview. I've lived that story before, but I never let someone else's hate define my path. His calm during chaos became a viral soundbite. 2 weeks later, Jayden received an email. It was from a billionaire investor who had seen the clip. He wanted to back Carter Code. By the end of the month, Jayden secured an additional $10 million in venture capital. He hired 40 new employees, mostly people of color, women, and folks from underserved communities. He launched a scholarship for kids from low-income neighborhoods to learn coding. He named it after his mother. He didn't stop there. He started visiting schools, not as a guest, but as an icon. Kids lined up for autographs. Young black boys with big eyes and little hopes suddenly had someone who looked like them at the top. Jayden is the reason I want to be an engineer, one 12-year-old said in a viral clip. What Karen meant to be his downfall became the reason the world stood behind him. Jayden never spoke to Karen again. He didn't need to. The silence said it all. But what the world saw wasn't revenge. It was redirection. Jayden took her hate and built a ladder out of it. He climbed higher than ever. So let me ask you, have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to bring you down, but it only made you stronger? Did their hate become your motivation? If so, comment below and tell your story. And if not, let this be your reminder. People could try to bury you, but they forget you're a seedling. If this story inspired you, even just a little, show some love. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful real stories. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Because we're not just telling stories here. We're building a movement. Until next time, stay aware, stay human,